If you say you gon' do it, get it done. If you say you gon' do it, get it done. If you say you gon' do it, get it done. If you say you gon' do it, get it done. Save your stories, I ain't with the pump.
Trading psychology, the study of the human mindset and how it functions in terms of identity, beliefs, and behaviors while actively trading regulated or non-regulated assets. This area of psychology can reveal core human inclinations because trading requires a different mindset for success than our primitive brain has developed, and a mindset different from what is required for success in most other endeavors. This area of study clarifies the mental and emotional aspects that will dictate a trader's decision and is an important factor in his or her success or failure in the trading process. I like how you kind of told the story of how you got intimate with that market. And I want to go back a little bit because I don't know if we often hear how this all came to be. And I know in the book, you mentioned and Mark mentions traders on the floor, and they kind of fell into two categories: guys that could teach but they couldn't trade, and then traders that were excellent and had no clue what they could do. In today's world, everything you see and everything on social media is strategy. There's not very many platforms like this one that are talking about the psychology of it and the intangibles, and everyone kind of gravitates towards that information. How, when you guys were starting, how did you discover this? Because there was even the use of the word, from my understanding, trading psychology wasn't even a thing before you guys got started. How did you understand that this was more mental than strategy and everything else? And how did you guys really build the foundation of this industry?
Okay, so just to reiterate a little bit, Mark was he was very successful at commercial property casualty insurance. He was making, I think, $300,000 a year in the mid to late 70s.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
with all, oh yeah, with the company car, the expense account, everything, right? And he wanted to invest his money, and so he went to a broker and said, "Here's some of my money," and he didn't really know anything about it back then, and so the broker, took his money and promptly churned the account. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it just means that he put on trades just to get the commission for himself.
Oh,
There
wow.
was no rhyme or reason, and it still goes on today. It's a little more hidden, but it still can happen. Um, so within 6 months or something like that, he'd lost his account, and he was pretty ticked off. So he thought, I'm gonna learn a little bit about this business, and so then he started trading on his own. I mean, he still had to go through the broker, but now he was telling the broker what trades to put on. So he felt that that was better. But there came a point where he realized that he wasn't sure that the broker really knew what he was doing at all. And so he quit his job. Of course, his whole family went nuts and said, "Are you crazy?"
Right.
His fiance at the time was like, "Oh my God," and and he sold everything. He sold his house, sold just everything but his bed and his TV and his car, his Porsche, and moved to Chicago to be a broker with Merrill Lynch, making $22,000 a year
Oh, wow.
because he thought, okay, I'm just going to make enough trading. All right.
Oh, okay.
So that's how he got started. And then, like I said, I ran the floor operations, and then I became a floor trader. And but like I said, I had so many friends who were traders that I would sit there and they would show me their trading systems. Now, again, this was all done by hand and, little calculators. There was no computers doing any algorithms or anything like that. And so a lot of the trading systems that these floor traders had, um, were very complicated. I couldn't grasp most of them. I mean, but they made money from them, which is great. But that's the way their brains were wired. Whereas, the more simple the program for me, for my mental environment, that's what I gravitated to. And I think that's why I appreciated T-bonds, because I felt it was a very simple market. Okay. Now, Mark, on the other hand, now we didn't meet till 1984. So he had several years being a broker with Merrill Lynch. And what he found out was that these brokers, for the most part, at least the ones that he worked with, and had no idea what they were doing.
Oh, wow.
Not at all. And so he, being a new broker, he would sit there and watch them, and he would ask them, well, why are you putting that trade on for your clients? And lots of times they would say,
Check out the full episode on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. Speak Trading Ascension right into your Alexa, or find it on any of your favorite podcast streaming services.